Hello, everybody. So I've got Andrea here today, and she's going to chat to us about some of the great features and options that the banks are currently offering us with first-time homeowners and for bonds in general. So, Andrea, over to you.
Thanks so much, Melissa. Hi, everyone. I feel privileged to be able to share some of the offerings that the banks offer to their clients. The four major banks, which we will be discussing, is FNB, Nedbank, ABSA, and Standard Bank. And basically, we're going to just touch into what each bank has to offer and what some clients really find interesting in terms of their offerings, which they maybe not know about up until they are able to discuss with the bond originator. Right, now, regarding bank offerings, FNB offers something called future use, first-time home buyer offering, and solar offering. Nedbank offers future use rental income, first-time home buyer, solar offering, home vision, which is called their future use. Standard Bank offers future use on request, first-time home buyer, and solar offering. And then ABSA uses future rental income, first-time home buyer, and solar offering. Now we're going to dive a little bit more into what future use is, first-time home buyer offering, and solar offering, and future rental income. Those are the things we'll basically be discussing today. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into what the banks call future use. It says it in the name, for future use. Three banks that offer this is FNB, Standard Bank, and Nedbank. FNB does it slightly a little bit different to what Standard Bank and Nedbank does it. Right, with FNB, 20% of your 20% is registered for free over and above your higher loan amount. So what that means is if you look at your purchase price, 20% of that will be registered for free for you so that you don't have to register a further loan later down the line. Standard Bank and Nedbank, you have to ask for it. It doesn't automatically get applied and is not for free. And the clients would have to pay for the higher loan amount to be registered. Okay, so that is what FNB at the moment is offering. That is why so many people are taking FNB bonds, because they want that higher loan amount to be registered. Because what happens 6 months after your bond has been registered, you have access to additional funds. So for instance, let's if you take out R1 million bond, 20% of that is 200,000. 6 months down the line, what happens is you need extra cash. You need, I don't know, you need to renovate your house. You want to do something around the house. I need that extra funds. What you then can do is you can go to your bank 6 months after the bond has been registered. This is FNB. And you can say, hey, FNB, I need my future. I need to tap into my future use. They will ask for additional documents to see if you can afford it. If they say you can afford it, then what they will do is they will add it over and above the loan amount. And basically because it's registered for free, you can get access to those additional funds. No need, like I said, to get a further loan later down the line. You will be repriced. That's something I really do want to emphasize. You will be repriced, and the repayment is based off your principal debt. Right. Now, with Standard Bank and Nedbank, like I've mentioned, you have to ask for it. It doesn't automatically get added. The other point that you need to remember is, sorry about that. Something you need to remember is the client pays for the higher loan amount to be registered. It's accessible 6 months. This is Nedbank. 6 months after your bond has been registered, you have access to it. And then the difference with Nedbank is you can access it 3 months after your bond has been registered. They need to see 3 months bond installment into your account. All right. Then no need for a further loan with any of these banks. So that's in essence your future use. That is what the banks are going to offer their clients at this point in time, which is very nice because if I think about my husband and myself, we tapped into our future use. We were able to do renovations to our home, and it worked for us. It was just incredible. So yeah, that is future use.
I just want to ask, okay, so with Okay, so with F&B, you definitely have it added onto your loan. With Nedbank, you have to apply for the higher loan, but when it comes to that stage, they have to make sure that the affordability is still there. So it's not guaranteed that you'll get that loan. Okay, great. And the price,
100%.
what was that that you mentioned about they will reevaluate the price?
Reprice.
Yes.
So that is in essence, that means that your interest rate will be affected. So what could happen is, let's say when you took out the bond, your interest rate might have been a bit higher than what you've wanted. But when you do your future use, they might say, oh, hold on a second. Even though we're increasing the risk by taking more out, maybe you're in a better credit standing at that point. Maybe you get a better rate, but you will be repriced.
Okay. All right. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It could actually even be a good thing.
It can be. It can be.
And that's with both F&B and Nedbank.
And Standard Bank.
And Standard Bank. Okay, great. Okay. Okay, continue. Sorry.
All right, no problem. Okay, now let's look at future rental income. Again, it's in the name. What can I get as rental income, but I don't have the property registered in my name yet? It's something that's for a future event. The two banks that offer this is ABSA and Nedbank. This offering will help your client's ability to qualify for a home loan by including the anticipated rental income for investment properties into the affordability assessment. By incorporating future rental income, your clients can enhance their borrowing capacity, making it easier to secure the optimal financing for the investment properties. Like I said, it says in the name, I want a property that is somewhere in Joburg. I needed to build my property portfolio. What ABSA and Nedbank will essentially do is they say, how much can we rent this property out for? It's based on their market stats, what they've got. And they will see, oh, we can rent this property out for, let's say, I'm just using a ballpark figure, 20,000 Rand. What then will happen is that amount will be added onto your affordability assessment. And that is what will be in essence happen is that property you'll be able to secure in financing because it will be for your property portfolio to build it. ABSA, there's no minimum income, but you have to have one property already registered in your name. Nedbank, this only came in effect on October 2024, guys, but the minimum gross income must be 40,000 Rand, joint or individual, and then with Nedbank, you can't apply for future first-time home buyer and future rental. It's either first-time home buyer or future rental. And then as well, future rental income, you can use it even if you don't have any properties registered in your name, which is great.
Okay. I like that. I actually like that because it's great for investors. I had a house now that was divided into a couple of rooms that were individually rented out. And that was, I think you actually did the bond, but I don't know if you did the rental option for them, but they were getting the rental, and that's actually great. It just increases affordability. So great for investors.
Yeah, very great. It really helps build your property portfolio. That's something that's one of the questions we ask at the interview when we have our small interview with the clients before we start assisting with the bond application. And one of those questions that we ask is this your first time ever purchasing the property? Where will you be living when you actually purchase this property? Will you still be living with your parents, or will you still be able to live with, are you going to move into this property? So it's a lot of questions that we ask to just, determine that when your bond is submitted, do we say to the banks, listen, this is for investment purposes. We need to take future rental income into consideration here. And we've helped thousands of people being able to get their bonds applications approved by a future rental income.
Oh, I love it. Great. And then I think you also wanted to cover solar. Were you still?
Yes, I would like to cover first-time home buyer options, just basically what you can apply for the maximum loan amount. And then after that, solar offering, if that is okay with you.
Perfect.
All right, great. Now, again, if we look at the four major banks, what they've got to offer, let's start with ABSA. any purchase price of the property below 700,000, you are able to qualify up to 108%. Anything above 700,000, you are able to qualify up to 106%, with the maximum purchase price of the property being 2.5 million, right? 50% discount on bond registration fees. Great. F&B, the applicant, if it's joint, one of them has to be first-time home buyer. In essence, there's no age restriction, and the maximum loan that you can apply for under 700,000 is up to 110%, and above 700,000 up to 107%, with the max of 2.5 million purchase price property, and then 50% discount on your bond registration fees. Let's move over to Nedbank. With Nedbank, if you're new to bank client, you can qualify up to 105%. Okay. And then if you're a main bank client, you can qualify up to 109%. Your maximum LTV depends on the purchase price of your property. But if you're new, if you're a Nedbank main bank client, you can get up to 109%, up to 5 million. And then 50% discount on your bond registration fees. And then you can, with Nedbank, which is nice, opt for a 30-year loan term to be applied via an appeal process. So that is something we can do for you. And then Standard Bank, of course, Jumpstart loans, 108%. Qualifying criteria: one of the applicants must be a first-time home buyer. Loan amount may not exceed 2.2, and you can ask for a full 108%. If they can't ask, if you can't qualify 108%, then the Jumpstart will apply, and they will see what you can afford of. So if you want cost, they will see, can you qualify 103? Can you qualify for 105? Can you qualify for 107? Just as an example. And then as well, the 50% discount on bond registration fees. So that 50% discount on bond registration fees is basically what the banks are offering for first-time home buyers, which is so great. You know, it really helps the clients. It really does go a long way. So yeah, there is some exclusions for first-time home buyer options, but I'll be able to explain that to the clients if they want to know, am I a candidate for it or am I not? And I'll be able to advise the clients if they call me and say, yes, you can qualify. No, sorry, that doesn't qualify. You don't. Like, for instance, Standard Bank's exclusion, one of them, vacant land. There are many exclusions, but I'll be able to explain that to the clients if they do give me a call.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, and it really does help the first-time home buyers, because it's a lot of money to come up with upfront, especially if you're quite young and you want to start your investment journey. Just to go over, they do definitely have to qualify for the higher amount. So if they don't qualify, then I'm assuming they don't get the higher amount.
Affordability has to be in place. That is correct.
Okay, awesome. No, that's great. It's a lovely way the banks are helping the first-time home buyers. And again,
yes,
like you mentioned, it doesn't have to be. It can be one person. So if it's a joint bond, one person's a first-time home buyer. Even if the other person has had properties before, they still can get that option. So yeah, that's awesome. Okay, and then over to solar.
Okay, so solar. We're going to look at the banks, okay? Because how FNB does it is one way, how Standard Bank does it is one way, and how Absa Nedbank does it is another way. So I'll first start with FNB. I'll move on to Standard Bank, and then I'll move on to Absa Nedbank. Right. With FNB, if the customer wants solar right after the bond is registered, quote for the solar must be submitted with a home loan application. If the customer can wait for the future use to be activated, which is 6 months after the bond has been registered, then the customer can use this future use for the solar, provided that affordability is in order and value assessment is completed. Minimum of 50,000 and maximum of 50% of the property purchase price if submitted with the bond. And then FNB to discuss payouts to the customer. We don't explain it to the customer, FNB explains it to the customer.
Great.
So if you want it right after, if you want that solar right after your bond has been registered, let's say it registers Saturday, if you want to put in that solar on Monday, or in, let's say, that scenario, your solar offering has to go with the bank. If you can wait for the future rental income, future use, then you can use your future use for your solar, but then you have to wait 6 months. Standard Bank. The quote can be submitted with a home loan application. The registration amount will be increased by 20%. Customer pays for the increased registered amount. A maximum of 250,000 Rand can be requested for solar. Amount approved will be held under retention. 70% of the quote will be paid out. Upon the completion of the solar installation, will the rest of the 30% be paid out and must be processed and completed within the first 3 months of the bond being registered.
That's fair.
Then Absa Nedbank, how they look at it, the customer applies for future loan right after the bond is registered. Customers has total control of funds. Payment will be made from the bond attorney to the customer on the date of registration. Customer to pay the required deposit to start the installation of the solar. Customer to ensure that requirements have been met upon completion of the installation, like COC and insurance. Customer to pay the balance of the funds to the energy supplier. That is the solar offering. So if anybody wants to have a, like a unique experience or situation that they want me to know what, they would, we would advise of submitting their solar, or what option they need to use, they can give us a call and we can ask them, what their situation is like. And we can maybe say to them, maybe you can opt for this, maybe you can opt for that. But we will be, in essence, just reiterate these words to the clients to say to them, this is your options from the 4 major banks.
I think it's brilliant. And it's better to put it onto your bond where you get a better interest rate in your loan than going on a personal loan or other types of loans. So I think it's a great thing that the banks are doing for all the people with solar.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the way to go these days. So yeah. Great.
No, definitely.
These are lovely options. Thank you, Andrea.
You're very welcome. And I'm very happy that, these are just some of the financing options. If anybody's got any questions that they would like to ask, if they need something more in terms of what Standard Bank, or if they're a Nedbank main bank client, maybe some cross-sell discounts that we can discuss with the clients. If you Standard Bank, can you get a discount on your rate if I go with, Nedbank? Anything to that extent, we are able just to give some of the perks to the clients like we've just done.
Great, perfect. And yeah, they can always contact me and then I'll send your details to them so they can ask you all the questions they need to know.
Exactly. All right, great.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks, Andrea. And Andrea's from Multinet. So yeah, Andrea Underwood.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Yeah, I look forward to helping everyone going forward.
Thank you. And thank you for your time. I know you're super busy. So thank you for your time this morning.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure. Bye.